Taga dito ka ba?
Opo, nakatira ako dun sa may ano, sa looban.
Dito, sa looban. Dito kayo talaga nagpa-park.
Opo, dito po.
Magkano bayad nyo?
50 sa isang araw po.
20 the whole day.
Opo, opo.
Dahil residente ka.
Opo, dito sa loob.
Pag hindi ka residente, magkano?
Nasa 20 din po yata eh.
20 rin.
Oo,
So,
dito
pag
may-
umalis ka na, pagbalik mo, bayad ka ulit.
Hindi na po. Maghapon na po yan. Pagdating ng alas 12 ng gabi, tapos pa alauna.
Sino ba may-ari nito?
Hindi ko alam yung
Pero kanino kayo nagbabayad?
dito. Bali, dalawa sila magpalit-palitan. Umaga hanggang hapon, umaga hanggang tanghali, isa yun, tapos bago na sa hapon.
So, ano to? Taga-barangay to?
Nagpangay ko yan dito eh.
Taga-barangay.
Opo.
Tanod.
Opo, tanod.
So, alam nyo ba na public road to? Na hindi naman barangay ang nagpagawa niyan. Wala naman silang pondo para magpagawa ng... kaya yung mga iba dyan, sira na eh.
Sila dyan.
Nagbabayad na lang ng 20 eh. Para may paglagyan. Sige.
Yan, yan.
Thank you ah. Mag-helmet, mag-helmet.
Bong, good morning, sir.
Hello.
Sir, yung amin na ano doon yung sasakyan namin. Ano, sir?
Saan? Ano sasakyan?
Yung Santa Fe, sir. Nag-green.
Saan nakuha?
Ay, doon papel ko, sir. Oh.
Eh baka na kaya illegally park.
Doon nga nakapatong siya. Kasi nasira yun.
Bawal po sa ano
Nagawa
ma'am,
pa
bangketa.
namin. Baka
Bawal
naman
po
safety
tayo
ko
sa
sa
bangketa
tulungan,
ma'am.
kahit
Ma'am,
mababa lang.
nag-ooperate po kami. Makikita nyo po yan, na Iya Road. Main road po ito, national highway po ito. Kaya nagtataka kami, bakit pinapayagan mag-park dito na doble-doble, nakaharang sa bangketa. Ayan, palakasan. Yun nga po yung bawal na eh.
Dapat may residente dito. Meron dapat kami sila.
Yung ano po, hindi. Paano kayo magkakaroon dito? Depende sa nagbabayad dito.
Oo, sir. Nagbabayad kami talaga, sir. Kasi taga rito kami.
Oo. Yun nga po eh. Nagtataka ako ba't kailangan nyo magbayad? Eh, pinagawa po ng gobyerno yan para mapagparkingan nyo.
Yan na nga, sir. Yan na nga. problema.
Tapos binabayaran. Eh, sino kumikita? May resibo?
Meron din, sir. Maliit lang.
Maliit lang. Oh. Dapat po, tignan talaga to ng DILG.
Totoo, sir.
Yung kalakaran dito, na ultimong barangay official, may reserve parking na nakalagay dyan. Nakaharang sila sa daanan. Hindi po kami papayag ng ganun na. Kailangan po natin ibalik ang kaayusan dito.
Oo nga, sir. Tama yun, sir. Sinabi nyo, wala man kami magagawa.
Poron, kanino pong barangay?
Yes, amo na yun to.
192.
Pero residente kayo dito.
Opo.
Tapos nagpa-park kayo dyan.
Hindi mo nakalain namin bawal, sir. Alam
Sinisigil
namin.
kayo.
Oo,
Pati
opo.
yung access road na yan.
Opo.
Yun nga po, kailangan talaga malaman ng DILG to na pinagkakapirahan to ng barangay.
Yan, sir.
Kayo, tingnan nyo, may resemblance of legality dahil nagbabayad kayo. Akala nyo legal.
Opo.
Di ba?
Oo.
Barangay pa, opisyal ng gobyerno. Tapos, pinapaparga nila access road. Pag kayo nagkaroon ng sunog dito, hindi na makapasok ang bumbero.
Sana kung yan na may barangay.
Eh kaya nga po ma'am kailangan po talaga malaman ng DILG to.
Ang pera ni Pagilan, wala kami bang bayad.
Ayun nga, isingilin nyo po yung barangay na naniningil sa inyo ng parking. Kung sino po yung naniningil sa inyo na ipakita nyo sa kanila yung resibo, sila magbayad ng sasakyan nyo para kunin sa impounding.
Ano bayad doon?
Eh mahal po yan ma'am, 1,500 per first 4 kilometers. Ito pa, tapos 200 per succeeding kilometers. Hindi po yun, yung ticket alone, yung ticket, 2,000 na po agad yun. Sigilin nyo po yung
Ay,
barangay.
hiningiling galit sila.
Sigilin nyo po yung barangay.
Galit na sila.
Eh, bakit? Kaya nga po na kayo napapahamak dahil sa sinisigil nila sa inyo eh. Sigilin nyo po. O kaya, di ba? Hindi pa pwede yan, Nay. Ano po yan, pinagawa po ng gobyerno para sa inyo. Hindi, wala pong kinalaman ng barangay. Yung barangay po, walang contribution dyan.
Bayad namin doon, wala kaming pera. Wala kaming
Kaya nga po, sigilin nyo.
Wala kami nabuhay, wala kami trabaho.
Sigilin nyo po yung barangay.
Galit yun.
Sino magagalit yung barangay? Dapat ang barangay, official, naglilingkod sa inyo. Hindi kayo nilalagay sa kapahamakan. Ako na po nagsasabi, Nay. Yan, singilin nyo. Wala po silang utang na loob sa inyo. Wala rin kayong utang na loob sa kanila, kaya po singilin nyo.
Araw-araw bayad, wala lang.
Ay, araw-arawin namin kung ganyan yung kalakaran dito.
Hindi araw-arawin bayad sabihin nyo.
Ano po?
Everyday bayad din yun.
Gagawin po namin yan. Eh, sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung barangay na naniningil sa inyo, sila po singilin nyo.
Ay, di pwede
May resibo ba pinapakita? Ano po yung resibo? Nasaan na yung resibo? Oh, ibig sabihin, hindi nakukuha. Kanino napupunta ang pera?
Pagkain nila.
Ha?
Bili pagkain nila.
Pagkain nila, bakit kailangan nyo sila pakainin? May sweldo yung mga yan. Diba? Bakit sila kailangan pakainin? Nay, ang mga barangay official dapat naglilingkod sa inyo. Hindi nyo sila, hindi baliktad. Kayo naglilingkod sa kanila. Pineperahan pa kayo. Pineperahan pa kayo.
Sure naman, idol.
Pineperahan pa kayo, Nay.
Umaga po. From Cebu.
Naka-record ka pa. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. MMDA back on the road. Right now, they're clearing Andrews Avenue, where there's a lot of vehicles parked in the emergency base. There are huge signs that say no parking, tollway zone, emergency use only. Of course, if there's a driver, it's just a ticket. If there's no driver, it goes on the tow truck. And it's not just the emergency base, there's also a lot of vehicles parked in the road itself. There are a lot of signs around here which say no parking, tollway zone. I just heard the team requesting a tow truck to come in and pick up this taxi. There's no driver. The franchise requires them to have off-street parking. If you're wondering why he's touching the hood, he wants to see if it's hot. If it's hot, it means it was driven recently. If it's cold, it's probably been here for a long time. And here it is, already hooked up at the front, ready to take it away, clear the road. And just behind that taxi, there's actually another one that's also being hooked up to a tow truck. And you know things are bad when you have to install a huge sign just to remind people not to counterflow. I don't know what happened with this Jeep, but I saw an importer trying to stop it, and then a second importer tried to stop it, and now it's finally been stopped by the third. So the initial reason for flagging this down is it has a private plate on the front and back, which is actually damaged, heavily damaged. Aside from that, he's not wearing a seatbelt, he's driving in slippers. He's got a bald front tyre. There is a dress code for PUV drivers, like Jeepney drivers. This is a pretty well-known Habal terminal, but obviously since they don't have passengers, you can't get them for Calorum or Habal. So what you can do is obstruction, illegal parking. And if enforcers did that every day, fixed post enforcers, they wouldn't be able to put their terminals on the road or sidewalk anymore. And in fact, talking about Habal, it looks like they've already apprehended one. There are many downsides to Habal. Firstly, overcharging of commuters because they just charge whatever they want. Secondly, when something goes wrong, they often abandon their passengers in the road because they don't have any insurance. So if you get injured, bad luck. The other thing is the legal motorcycle taxis like Ankas, Joyride, Move It, they're losing customers to the illegal. Many Habal drivers in the past have said they can take home 2,000, 2,500 in a day if they work the hours. So it's obviously a good job, but it just has to be done in the right way, the legal way. They're explaining now to this lady that the food store shouldn't really be here, and it's also encouraging people to park aside from the Habal drivers. The reality is they know and they do not really care because that's what they've chosen to do. The only time they would care is if there was a confiscation. You'll see this inner area has been made into parking, but the problem is that even parking on the entrance and the exit, so you have this little RE tricycle, you have the Barangay van over there, and then you have the, what's that, like an Nova and something else, Suzuki over here. Oh, the funny thing is it says reserved parking for Barangay officials. I think it's gonna get towed away though. The crazy thing is the sidewalk is even painted to remind people don't park on the corner, don't park obstructing the entrance and exit of the car park. I mean, if you can call it a car park, it seems to be a public space that's been converted to parking. So someone from the barangay came out, he said the RE tricycle and the van is theirs, but that silver one at the back is not there. It looks like people have just found any space they can and then dumped the cars. I just wonder, like, if there was a fire, could the truck still get through here? Especially to those smaller streets at the back that also have lots of vehicles parked inside. I don't think so. This is how it looks now that those vehicles have been removed. You can actually see the curbs, you can see the road. It's the same thing over here. Someone decided to park on the corner outside of the car park, and they've already been hooked up to the tow truck. They'll be taken to Tamana in Marikina City, pretty far from here. While the Barangay call this a car park, this is actually the service road. You'll see a sign here which says Neia Road. So these vehicles here are actually being ticketed for parking on the sidewalk. And I just heard the enforcer say he's been here for 8 minutes, no driver. So this might go off on the tow truck. The SCOG team are also having them remove their food tables and chairs and tents and everything else. It would be better if the Barangay could do this instead of waiting for the MMDA to go here. Even if you want to use the footbridge, you have to work your way between all the cars first. That's pretty incredible.